Yeah, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Finally going to be able to get that last little bit of ice off the corporate driveway, right? Good. Yeah, well, you work on that. All right. Cheers. Hey, how you doing? Beautiful day. As I mentioned to my guy there, finally some melting going on. More snow in the way though, so don't get too excited. Welcome to Season 6, Episode 4 of Niagara 411 Live with Sterry, fueled by Gales Gas Bars, supported by Sandra's Home Healthcare, Verge Insurance, Ace Alignment, and Mac Outpost. Those are your specials at the lovely Fiddler's Poorhouse, 149 St. Paul Street, the home of Niagara 411 Live with Sterry. Come on in. I almost want to keep the class outside today. Man, it's nice. But anyway, we got to go in and get settled. We're going to have a couple of interesting folks. Well, everybody we have on the show is interesting. I shouldn't narrow it down to just a couple. We got a Lego guy. We have a mayor guy. We have Kevin from WeeStreem behind the camera there that we're going to be checking in on, and a whole pile of other things. And a lot of things have happened since we talked to you last. And one of those things was, of course, the Four Nations Face-Off tournament, which turned into a bigger deal than I think anybody had any idea that it was going to. And it was so great that we came out on top. Anyway, we can wax philosophic about all that stuff in a bit. We shall be back in about 30 seconds. Stay with us. Hope you enjoy the show. And here we be, as I mentioned, in the lovely Fiddler's Poorhouse, St. Paul Street, downtown St. Catharines, on a nice Wednesday, February the 26th, 2025. And by the way, it looks like February is going to go out like a lamb, but March is going to come in like a lion. So don't get too used to this, but just enjoy it while we have it. We have Lucas Michlik coming up at about 12:20 today. And what is a Lucas Michlik? Well, Lucas is the Brock University Lego Club president, and he's in the running to perhaps be the official designer of a brand new Lego kit that's coming out. Lego has, man, it's become something huge over the last few years. So we're going to have him up at about 12:20, 12:50-ish. Everything is ish on this show because it's live, and you never know what's going to happen. It's live and in the moment. Feulled Erie Mayor Wayne Redekop is going to be joining us. We don't often get really political on this show because it's way too easy to get bogged down in minutia when it comes to politics, be it municipal, provincial, federal, whatever, especially since we got an election coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big election day in Ontario. Nevertheless, Mayor Redekop is going to be joining us because healthcare is always a big issue these days. And Feulled Erie is feeling the pinch when it comes to that topic. So we're going to be talking to Mayor Redekop about that at about 10 to 1 today. And Pastor Nathan Braun is going to be joining us. He's from the New Hope Church up on St. Paul, right, Kevin? And
New Hope is over
Louth and
Reichert. Right where Reichert ends there, right in front of that cement plant. On the northeast corner, they got a big facility there, and it's about to almost double in size.
Yeah, in the southwest end of St. Catharines, anyway, up in that area. And he's going to be joining us a little bit after 1 o'clock today. Let's do something right away, Kevin, while we can do this. For everybody that's watching us on on Facebook on Niagara 411. Hi to Nick, by the way, and Nick's mom from Niagara 411. One of these days, Kevin's, maybe today's the day, we'll actually take a couple minutes and explain the difference between Niagara 411 and Niagara 411 Live, because sometimes we've run into some folks that get a little bit confused about the differentiation between the two. But if you're watching us right now, and we're streaming, just do a refresh on the Niagara 411 page, and you'll see us doing what we're doing. And then if you hit that little share button at the bottom right of the thing, and then it'll say share now, and just click that. That'd be awesome. If you could do that, we'd really, really appreciate it, because the whole concept of this show is by Niagarans, in Niagara, for Niagarans, and the more we share, the more we like and share that when we do these shows, the more it helps us and you stay in touch with your fellow Niagarans. That's what it's all for. Also, before we go any, a little bit more housekeeping, as they call it in the media biz. Housekeeping, meaning here are just some boring announcements for you. But this is something that you might find interesting, actually, is the fact that we here at Niagara 411 Live, Kevin Jack of WeeStreem, we'll be talking more about that, myself, Sterry, we are going to be bringing you Niagara exclusive election coverage tomorrow as soon as the polls close. I'm used to polls closing in elections at 8 p.m., but in this case, the Ontario election polls close across the province at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to be going live right here at 9 p.m. tomorrow night, and we're going to be doing a Niagara exclusive. Obviously, we'll give you the overall provincial numbers, of course, as to how the leaders are doing, because as the locals go in all of the ridings, so go the leaders of the parties. But that notwithstanding, we are probably the only media outlet that is going to be able to give you exclusive and continuous Niagara coverage until it's over. Could be 20 minutes, could be an hour, who knows? But it's going to be Niagara focused, nevertheless, because as you know, what happens when you watch the so-called mainstream media, and I'm not dissing the mainstream media, I was in it for 48 years, but they have a broader mandate. They've got to cover the whole province, so they run down all of the, like the CTVs and the CBCs of the world, and even the Hamilton station. They don't cover it continuously. They're on every 20 minutes or a half hour or something like that. But nobody will be able to give you a continuous Niagara update except for us. And we're going to be doing that tomorrow night starting at 9 p.m.
Yeah, looking forward, Lee. I mean, a hotly contested ridings down here. I believe that Premier Feulled is visiting St. Catharines again today. And he has made many visits to Niagara, as here in Niagara, the last election, we've got NDP representation in St. Catharines, and in Niagara Falls, and Niagara Centre.
Yeah, I mean, the NDP party has been, as you mentioned, solid in provincial elections for a number of years. And I can understand that the other parties, the PCs in particular, would be really, really anxious to find a little bit of a foothold in Niagara. I'm not sure it's going to happen, though. When we've got Wayne Gates, who is a long-standing incumbent in the Niagara riding, which includes Niagara-on-the-Lake, Fort Erie, Niagara Falls. Jenny Stevens has been a long-serving MPP in the St. Catharines area, and then we go to Niagara North, or what do they call it, Niagara Central?
Niagara Centre.
Niagara Centre.
Which is Jeff Birch.
Jeff Birch, yeah.
Currently.
So
but some contenders there, Lee. I mean, you got Bill Steele, the current mayor of Port Colborne, and he's representing Sal Sorrento trying to challenge for Jenny's seat in St. Catharines.
Yeah.
And then Ruth Ann Newestag, who's a sitting councilor right now for the city of Niagara Falls.
Right.
And she's flying the blue flag out in Niagara Falls. So
it'll be
It's going to be interesting. And again, we will have the only coverage lead tomorrow that is just Niagara-centric.
Right.
We're not going to look at any ridings outside of the 4 in Niagara, and then, of course, what it means
the provincial. The leader. Yeah, we'll do Niagara, and we'll do the leadership.
Yeah, but that's it. I mean, so if you're looking for Niagara coverage, unfortunately, you can't get that anywhere. We've all gone through the frustration in elections past where you tune into CHCH and, they might get to Niagara once every half hour.
Yeah, and we're doing this off the cuff, by the way, meaning that we're not charging anybody for it. We're not taking any money for it. We're not getting paid for it. We're just doing it because somebody needs to in Niagara. In these days of dwindling and decreased media coverage in detail, and I mean all media, that's why we are here. And I don't think that we would be doing our job if we didn't give Niagarans a chance to tune into Niagara results. So this is the only place you're going to get it on a steady stream. Pop in, pop out, whatever you want to do, but we'll be steadily streaming as of 9 p.m. when the polls close. Kevin, I have to mention the Four Nations Face-Off hockey tournament, because we were talking about this on the show the last time, and anybody that has seen me talk about hockey at all knows I'm not the most knowledgeable hockey person in the world. I'm not even the biggest hockey fan on the planet. To me personally, frankly, full disclosure, I don't care. But the rest of this country, and probably you, just made this one of the biggest things on the planet. I began to care, I'll tell you, after the whole U.S.-Canada thing and the 51st stateness and all that ridiculous hoo-ha. It became a thing. It became a bigger thing than I ever thought it would be. And I think even the most ardent hockey fan like you, Kevin, I mean, you are a hockey guy. And I think even it became a bigger thing for you than you expected it to be.
I mean, I was really looking forward to it because we haven't had best on best for so long. The entire hockey community was really, but I think this exceeded all of our expectations.
Right.
And hopefully, as a Canadian, you were sitting there in front of the TV on that Saturday night game, that round-robin game against the United States when they had, 3 fights in the opening 9 seconds, and you're sitting here going, whoa, hold on a second, what's going on?
No.
These are the best players in the world. These are not a bunch of knuckle-dragging thugs.
That's exactly right.
You got Kachuk and Sam Bennett and Brendan Hagel just teeing off at center ice before really the game even began. You're like, wow, these guys are into this one, and
so it
became, what a finish.
It became Paula hockey. Politics and hockey all mixed together. And the first thing that ran through my mind, I have to share this. The first thing that ran through my mind was after Connor McDavid scored that goal was finally we can stop talking about Paul Henderson. 1972, the Summit Series. And I know there have been some big series. I think, Kevin, you mentioned there was a big one in '86. And
87 Canada Cup, just up the road there. Cops Coliseum, Mary Lou, and, of course, the Golden Goal in 2010. But I understand.
But 1972, the Summit Series, USSR, Canada, and Paul Henderson scored the winning goal. I have to tell you. Now, he was a great hockey player. He played for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He had a long career. Well, kind of a longish career. But he made an entire second career and maybe a third career out of one goal. I saw, because I was in the media for many years, I had a chance to be at different conventions and speakers bureaus and all this other hoo-ha. And I saw Paul Henderson speak many times. And it was all hinged on the goal. Everything. Now, he related it to spiritualism and all these other things that were important in his life, and that's wonderful. That was great. But he probably made more money on the speakers circuit for about 25 years out of that one goal than he made playing hockey. Like, it was amazing. So the first thing that ran through my head is, finally, we can start talking about Connor McDavid now, and maybe Paul Henderson can retire from the goal of 1972. That's the first thing that went through my head, I guess, just because I'm old and I remember that day. I was sitting at a cottage in the Muskokas in 1972, outside. Somebody had a television outside, watching that game, and I'll never forget it. It was huge. And again, even not being a hockey fan, it was a Canada thing. It was a root for the flag thing. And man, that was awesome. As were those others, the Canada Cup, etc. And now, of course, the latest thing that we are able to hang our goalie masks on is the Four Nation Face-Off tournament. Just how many times have you watched that goal? 700, 800, 900 times over the last couple of weeks? That's crazy.
Yeah. Now, Lee, something that I hope is never forgotten. You know, we all talk about the Sidney Crosby, the Connor McDavid goal.
Yeah.
And I mean, here it is again. But those saves by Jordan Binnington, they were just showing. I mean, absolute game stoppers.
Yeah. It was all the.
Look at this. This is Austin Matthews on the crease. Huge save.
Yeah,
and if you're America, that's what you want, right? What do we want to do? Hey, if we can get Austin Matthews the puck all alone in front, and then here you go, Brady Tkachuk, all alone side of the net, and he slides back, goes post to post, catches it with his glove above the pad. Like, those are just two incredible saves, and I hope that it's not lost. I look back at that game and go, 50 there. Jordan Binnington, he was the best player for Canada in that gold medal game.
Yeah.
So kudos to him, kudos to all of Team Canada, and boy oh boy, it was a galvanizing moment for Canada, wasn't it? I mean, it
truly meant so much more than hockey primacy. It was being able to say, 51st this, pal. And move on. And I know that's childish. I know it's schoolyard stuff. But when it comes to what's been going on in the political environment, in the air, the stuff that's out there in the ether, it was just a chance for everybody across the country to say, yeah, you know what? We deserve, just to make us even feel better, even though it might mean nothing at the end of the day. It said something, and that was cool. So anyway, I know we do things that are Niagara concentric, but that's probably something that is big in every municipality across the country, and it's not. I don't see this political morass, this mess that we're in, as necessarily a bad thing. Because Canada has been accused for so many years, since its inception, actually, since 1867, that we don't have a national identity. We do now, I think. It feels like Canadians, other than maybe the odd Albertan, you never quite know about the odd Albertan, but even Quebec has kind of softened its stance a little bit on the patriotism side of being Canadian, and that's saying something. But for us coast to coast to say, hey, you know what, we've got our problems, we've got a ways to go, nothing's perfect, but damn it, we're here to stay as a nation, and the Four Nations thing just served to help cement that a little bit. So pardon me for going on about it, but I think it was a bigger deal than I expected it to be. That is for sure. Lucas Michlik, and I hope, Lucas, I'm pronouncing your name correctly, is the Brock University Lego Club president. And there's a thing going on right now. Where is it? I had it here somewhere. Over the rainbow. There it is. So he has designed a Lego application.
Yeah, it's a Lego set. I mean, here
a Lego set. Well, it's not a Lego set yet, but it's competing to become a Lego set, right? So he's created, in collaboration with the University of Toronto student Evan Kalsa, in what they call the Brinklinks Series 7 contest to become an official Lego set. It's not a set yet, but they are hopefully going to become one. And that's it right there. That's what they've decided. It's called Applewood Acres. And I know that Lucas was all ready and able, willing to come on here and join us.
Yeah, you know what, Lee? He's having trouble on his end.
Okay.
So he just left the room. He's going to come back in. He wasn't able to hear us, but we were sending him audio, so we're going to get that ironed out. I know he's going to hop back in here.
Okay, so what's happening here is Niagara. He's from Niagara on the Lake. He and his design partner, as I mentioned, Evan from U of T, and he lives in Burlington. They've entered their detailed red barn scene that you see right there, called Applewood Acres, as one of 375 entries in this Bricklinks Series 7 Lego design competition. And I want to talk to him about that, and we're planning on talking to him about that in just a little while. Now, the entries closed this past Friday, on the 21st. So all the entries are in, and now the judging begins, and I'm not exactly sure how that happens. But this Lego thing, and by thing I mean the whole Lego craze, everything to do with Lego, has become absolutely massive around the world. I know people, professional people, very accomplished, engineers, meteorologists, our pal, speaking of which, our pal Scott Sutherland, working with the Weather Network. He's a Lego nut. He's built so many of these sets over the years. Kevin, you and your family used to watch, there was a Lego competition that was on TV not long ago.
Oh, yeah, Lego Masters?
Lego Masters, yeah.
We watched the heck out of Lego Masters. We're now watching Lego Masters Australia, Grand Masters. And if you remember in the past, we had Brick and Nick. Brick and Nick was one of the champions of Lego Masters, one of the seasons, from Toronto. And he won with his partner, a girl from British Columbia. And we had him on the show just to talk about his obsession over Lego. And I don't know where my kids are going to go. You know, they're 9 and 11 right now.
Right.
Hold on. You know what, Lee? Carry the conversation.
Go ahead. Yeah, I know you got the techie thing to do. But the crowd support leg of the contest closed on Friday, as I mentioned. Then feedback from fans during that stage, combined with the Bricklink design program's internal selection criteria, I'm kind of reading as we go here, to move on to the review leg. So the 5 winners are going to be announced out of all of those entries, out of 375 entries. The 5 winners are going to be announced on March the 17th. We got them?
Yeah, we got Lucas there. We got this whole Zoom thing ironed out.
Okay, cool.
So here we go. We'll get him onto the program.
All right. Lucas, hey, how you doing, mate?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. You got me?
I have you.
All right, good. Okay, so you and your partner, Evan, were one of 375 entries to have your creation designated a Lego set. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier while we were waiting to talk to you, the public part of this thing closed on this past Friday. Where are we now in this process?
So what's in now, it's called the review stage. So from February 21st to March 17th, the team is going to review all those designs. They're going to see how the crowd support did, and they're going to make their decision on which 5 final designs they pick for crowdfunding, and they will release that March 17th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time.
And then what? After that, how do they decide who becomes a Lego set? Is it one of those? Is it 2 of those? How many of the entrants that are in this phase get to move on and become a Lego set? How does that work?
So out of the 375 designs, they're going to pick 5 of them, and they're going to base that decision on crowd support as a major one, and also making sure it meets certain quality standards as well. And would it be a good set that people would buy and produce, and does it meet certain standards just of the company, really?
So give us the backstory on you predominantly, and also your partner a little bit, but mainly yourself. You are the president of the Brock University Lego Club. I didn't even know there was a Lego Club. How long has that been in existence?
So that was created in February 2023 by myself and a couple of good friends of mine. One of them is actually the vice president of the club, and he's graduating this year, so we actually just had our elections for a new vice president. That would have been a couple weeks ago. So, and we have about just over 150 members part of that club at Brock.
Okay. And what does that mean? What does a Lego club do?
So one of our big projects over the last couple of years is we're actually designing a model of the Brock campus. So we have the digital design. Okay. Yes, so that's one of our big designs. We're trying to do that. We've spoken to Brock to be open to displaying that somewhere in the Rankin complex, right at the front. So like that's a huge product compared to what I designed. The barn, the Brock campus is much larger than that, probably 10, 20 times the size of that. So yeah. we're probably about 20% through that. But that's been one of our main focuses. We've also went to a Lego convention in Toronto, and then we have weekly or bi-weekly meetings where we'll build certain sets, we'll do trivia nights, stuff like that, movie nights, stuff like that. Lots of fun events. And then we also hosted a Valentine's event a few weeks ago where we gave people the chance to buy Lego flowers and have pizza as well. So sort of a night out of Brock.
How does one go about creating a potential Lego set like you did with Applewood? What's the process involved in doing that?
So I don't know if you've ever heard the word palette before, but usually around 2 months before they start taking submissions for the designs, they release what is called a palette. Sorry, I turned it down. A TV of it. They release what's called a palette. So that's a set of pieces that you're able to use. And then with that set of pieces, you can just design anything you want on an app called Studio. It's a free app. Anybody can use it. You just have to, I think you have to have a computer. I don't think you do it on an iPad. I'm not sure. Okay. But it's a free app called Studio, and then with that, you just build digitally. It's very simple. And then you have the certain palette of pieces that you're able to use. While you're building, it creates instructions as well, and then you just have to download that file, download and render some photos, and you just submit that to the Bricklink site, and that was about it. So, and then we have to do marketing, social media for your design as well. But
okay, so what's in it for you at the end of the day? Should you win this competition? Should you guys come out on top or whatever? You become Applewood Applewood Acres design becomes a set and will be mass produced, obviously, by Lego. What does this mean to you?
I think just as a lifelong fan, I think it would just be a dream to have my name on a model part of that company and see it in people's collections as well. So, and then for myself, I'd like to see it in my collection as well. That's one of the reasons I designed it. So.
Lee, I want to ask Lucas a question here. As a dad of 2 Lego-loving children at home, I mean, gosh, it's taken over an entire room.
A Lego family.
A lot of when we were growing up, and, here I am inching towards 50, so when I was growing up, a lot of it was not really building with sets, whereas nowadays it's morphed more into set building. How do you move away from set building, and how do you create your own sets? Are you pulling Lego bricks from some of your other sets in order to create Applewood Acres, or what's that process like? Can you talk about the transition of building sets to building your own creations?
I mean, for me, all of my own creations have just come digitally, but if I were to build them in a real life form, I would probably do that by buying bricks for that. I wouldn't take apart my sets, but those sets have value, whether it's to me or whether if I want to sell them down the line, they have value to the potential customers. But yeah, most of my custom designs just come digitally, really. And it's a great platform. Kids can use it too. So it's a great creative platform. You can probably even use it in schools if you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, my experience, again, acknowledging the fact that I'm a dinosaur from another era, is you used to buy all these Lego blocks, and then you created your own designs. There was no such thing. It didn't come with a set of instructions as to how to build a thing. But now you go to one of the toy stores. Like I went into Mastermind. It's a big children's and toy outlet here in St. Catharines. The Lego section is massive. There are so many options.
Yeah, there's so many different things, all different genres, too. There's really something for everybody. That's what I like to say. So,
it's astounding. And I remember years ago at Ontario Place, when it was still open in Toronto, there on the water, there was a big Lego display there, and it was just, since then though, it's just gone absolutely. It's almost more for adults than it is for kids now.
Yeah, I definitely got really into it, and there's so many cool things that I think are perfect for adults too. So, and the build's quite complex as well.
Yeah, I mean, heck, Lee, I went to Legoland last
Yes,
year around this time in Florida.
Awesome,
I mean, you talk
awesome.
about. Yeah, I mean, you talk about it getting big. I mean, there's a whole amusement park that's all Lego themed.
It's crazy.
So
they've had Lego movies now too, and
it's absolutely massive. So answer me this, Lucas: where do you keep all of your Lego sets? Like I said, my kids have taken over an entire room. What does your house look like? Is it just shelf after shelf after shelf?
So I'm an only child, and I'm still only 22, but I still do live at home. I've been into it as a kid, really. My parents are not as into it as me, but they like certain things displayed around the home. Certain things are displayed on shelves in my bedroom, and the sets that my parents like are displayed somewhere around the house. Like we have the big Titanic, and that's just on our coffee table, for instance.
Now, you're from Niagara on the Lake, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
right? Your partner is from Burlington, goes to U of T.
Yes.
How did you guys hook up?
So during COVID, I think it was we literally just met on social media. I think we just connected through messaging. I think we liked similar comment or something on somebody's post, and then we just started chatting, and we realized we lived close to each other, and we've gone to a couple Lego conventions now together in Toronto.
Right. So you won't hear anything between now and, what did you say, March 17th?
It's March. That's when they announce the winners. They actually don't say if they're going to reach out to you before that, so I have no idea about that, sadly.
Okay.
But
now, how much of it?
I would.
Go ahead.
I would assume if you win, you'll probably hear something before that. Maybe by March 10th, you'll probably hear something. I'd be surprised if they don't give you at least a week's notice that your design has been chosen. So.
And then how long would that be, do you think, until it went into production? Because now, what if it becomes a set, now they've got to make the thing into a thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what it would be is from March 2025 until February 2026, they would work on the design. They would make sure it meets the quality standards. They would design instructions for it. And then February 2026, you could pre-order it. And then from February to July, they would put the set into production. And then come late June, early July, you'd get the set at your doorstep if you were to buy a copy.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Congratulations on making it this far. I think it's a fun... I knew there was one question I wanted to ask before I kicked you out of here. What was the inspiration behind Applewood Acres? Why the red barn theme?
I think just growing up in the countryside there around Lake, I've always been used to that kind of setting, and seeing them tearing down farms and building homes is not my favorite thing. So I love country. I love countryside. I love buildings like that. So I've always wanted one in Level 4, and I'm happy I've been able to do that.
Oh, it's cute. It's cute. What are you studying? What are you studying at Brock?
I'm in concurrent education with a major in math and a second teacher in geography. All
right. Well, good luck with that. Happy to have you. Happy to have you here, and we look forward we look forward to March 17th.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, take care, Lucas. Thanks for being here. All right. That's again, it's a world that has expanded astronomically, almost while we weren't looking, Kevin, and it was like. Whew.
I mean, you talk about branding and international brands with some staying power. I mean, Lego has to be one of the most respected brands.
Yeah, no question.
Like, no. It really is. It's up there with all the heavy hitters worldwide. And it's funny, Lee, when we put together the Lego sets, every once in a while, a piece will go missing or whatever, and sometimes the kids conclude like, oh, I'm missing a piece. Lego didn't send me a piece. And our response is always, Lego wouldn't do that. Because their brand is so tight, everybody knows, nope, they get it right every single time. And every single time, it's our mistake. We lost a piece. It's like, oh, yep, there it is. Lego didn't screw up.
Because of all concepts, their brand would absolutely depend 100% on everything being perfect. Because you can't miss a piece. I mean, it's like buying a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle and missing a piece of sky. You just don't. You just don't do that. Speaking of pieces, it takes an awful lot of pieces and people and support to put on a program like this, including being able to afford to bring it to you. And we have some people to thank that can do that. Gales Gas Bar, our premier sponsor for all these many seasons. We're into season 6 already. Hard to believe that much time has gone by, but it has. Gales Gas Bar's family-owned and operated 55-plus years here in Niagara. 11 full-serve and self-serve gas bars, plus 4 convenience stores now as they've expanded their offerings. One-stop shop for all of your petroleum needs, be it heating oil, be it gasoline, be it whatever, in that petroleum genre in Niagara. And we thank Jessica Friesen and her entire gang for continuing that family legacy in such a high-level bar situation. So we appreciate them being here with us all this time. Sandra's Home Healthcare also has set the standard. We just started talking about Sandra D'Alessandro and her business a couple of years ago, but they have been in business now for 20 years. And talk about a changing industry. We became much more aware of home health care and institutional health care, etc., throughout the COVID years, like from 2020 through to 2022, 23. It's become even more top of mind than it was before. And they've been doing it with a compassionate care commitment for all of that time. At their core, they prioritize the individual needs and preferences of their clients, and we're so happy to have them here in Niagara and happy to have them here on the show. Virgin Insurance Group as well, Mark Shirk and the gang, they have been around since 1953. So they must be getting something right. Auto, home, business, life, whatever your insurance needs, the brokers at Virgin Insurance can look after you just here in St. Catharines, again, just over on Ontario Street. Ace Alignment, another born and bred Niagara company, and that's very important to this program. We don't do national advertisers and international advertisers. We might have people that are internationally famous, i.e. our sponsors, but they're located here and they're born and bred here, as was Ace Alignment. Specializing in whatever your automobile preferences need, wheel alignments, brakes, suspensions, front end work, whatever that might be that you are in need of, they look after you. They're also in St. Catharines, just over here on North Street, just off Geneva, behind the Niagara Regional Police Station, located on Welland Avenue, tucked back in behind there. Janice Old Pretty is the owner, operator. Janice, thank you very much for continuing your support. The two guys you want to talk to when you stop by to say, hey, I got an issue or I have a question for you, are Darren Miller and Matt Crompton. Darren's the head mechanic, senior mechanic is Matt Crompton, and those are the guys you want to talk to at Ace Alignment. And our most recent acquisition, of which we are very, very proud, another born and bred company, been operating for many years, 25 years or so, is Mac Outpost in St. Catharines. Everything Apple. And really, those are the only two words you ever need to know. If you are an Apple, if you live in the Appleverse, like Kevin and I do, this is the place. It's a one-stop shop. Apple accredited service, they know everything about their hardware, but more than that, they can tell you how to use the software, how everything goes together, how everything works, and if you're having an issue, they'll make it better. Mac Outpost, they're on Lake Street in the Dollar Tree Plaza, right across from Don's Lighting. Tim Hortons is in there. You know where that is, north end of St. Catharines. So Mac Outpost, thank you very much for being here. Yes, Kevin.
Lee, we got a couple of stories. We got the Penn Center arrest on that smash and grab, and also a couple of local attempted bank robberies yesterday. In fact, some bank robberies, but I want to get to those in a second. But you touched off the beginning of the show that we'd be checking in with KJ later, and I didn't get a chance to talk about this before we went to air. But here was something fun that I got to participate in and raise money for a really good cause. Was Julia's Hope Cup.
Yeah.
So Julia's Hope Cup is an annual, it says right there, annual pond hockey tournament at Chippewa Park in Welland, fundraiser for the Hope Center. And this is in memory of Julia Turner, who passed away some 15, 16 years ago now at the age of 15. And over the years, I've become friends with first Julia's uncle Mark Turner from Welland, and then Julia's parents, Paul Turner and Tina Turner. Yes, Tina Turner. And they are just absolute incredible people, a great family. Paul forever was a teacher at Notre Dame, recently retired, enjoying his retirement and still giving back to the community. And Julia's Hope Cup this year, I mean, if you look at this, they're the top fundraising teams.
Look at that. That's great.
There's a picture there of Paul and Tina holding up a banner with Julia's picture on there. And here you go. Here are some of the photos from the actual. So there's a pond hockey tournament. So I showed up. It was the Saturday of Family Day long weekend. That's what it always is.
Saturday. That was a tough weekend to do something too. Bad weather that weekend.
Lots of bad weather on the Sunday. Lots of snow. But on Saturday, it was almost picture perfect. Like it was straight out of a Hallmark movie. It was just big, fluffy flakes slowly fall into the ground. So yeah, we had to shovel the ice a bunch. But a pond hockey game. I showed up, threw in my $50, and just said, just stick me on a team. It doesn't matter. Well, boy, oh boy, did they stick me on a team, and these guys knew how to play. But there you go. Over $60,000 was raised for the Hope Center this year. Here is my team. There's Vance Badaway that was there, an article from the Standard. And we go down. There was a kids' tournament in the morning. Here's some of the video from that day captured by John Kiokio, Welland counselor. He was there doing some filming. And there you go, $61,000.
Oh, congratulations, everybody that participated in that.
Look at that. There is the winning team.
Kevin Jack on the winning team. Look at you. The 14th annual.
There I am right there. So this here is Mitch Clark on the left, then myself in a Maple Leafs jersey.
Yeah.
This guy here was an absolute pleasure in the middle, Justin Marr. Hey, Justin, don't know if you're watching. Nobody was happier to win the Julia's Hope Cup trophy.
I was going to say, that's a nice replica there.
And then we had brothers Ethan Clark and then Liam Clark right there. And there's Paul and Julia with the trophy.
How many games did you have to play to be dubbed the champion?
5. We had 3 round robin games, and then we had a semifinal and a final. And believe it or not, we ran the table. Won a perfect
you won them all?
5-0. And a funny thing is that these two guys here, Ethan and Liam, are actually the sons of John Clark. John Clark, a longtime owner of Empty Bellies in Welland.
Ah, right,
and
okay.
About 12 years ago, I participated in Julia's Hope Cup with their father, John, and we won it. So about 12 years before that, we won this tournament with their father, and then I got to see John there go, oh, these are your boys? Yeah, oh, boy, what a coincidence. So it was an absolute great time.
Congratulations.
I mean, look at the smile on Justin's face there. That says it all.
Absolutely.
So super duper happy for that guy.
How many points did Kevin Jack get?
They weren't counting points.
Oh, okay.
They weren't counting points.
How many goals did Kevin Jack get?
We got enough, but these guys, we got enough to win. But I'll tell you, Ethan, Liam, Justin, and Mitch there, these guys were they were going hard and they were going for gold.
Congratulations. That's huge. And on both levels. Congratulations on the win, but congratulations on the support of that incredible cause. And I'm just so, we've talked about them before on the program, and I'm just so happy to see them going strong in Julia's name and raising that kind of awareness, not to mention the money. Is incredible. Good for you, Kevin. Well done.
Thanks very much, Lee. Now, speaking of money, I don't know exactly know how much this guy got away with yesterday, but just kind of flew under the radar. There were 2 attempted bank robberies yesterday across Niagara. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, they very rarely, if ever, say how much money anybody ever gets from a bank robbery. I can't see them. The way they have banks set up these days, they can't get away with very much. It's not like the old days. Anyway, the Uniformed Patrol responded to the TD Canada Trust on Dorchester in Niagara Falls. Officers determined upon arrival that a lone male suspect entered the bank, brandished a knife, demanded cash. Suspect received an undisclosed and will remain undisclosed amount of currency and fled the area. Short time later, about 3 in the afternoon, the police and their uniformed patrols responded to the Meridian Credit Union.
Just up there.
Yeah, on Lake Street here in St. Catharines, as Kevin said, just up the road. Upon arrival, they determined once again that a lone male suspect entered the bank, brandished a knife, demanded cash, received an undisclosed amount of currency, and fled the area. Sounds kind of familiar. So we're thinking probably the same guy. Both robberies, yeah. Well, there we go.
That's pretty crazy. Would you expect to get cash if you walked into a bank with a knife? I wouldn't think that would work.
Not at all. Because of most of these institutions, if not all, these days have what they call a central teller system, a central banking system. The people that you walk up to either at a desk or at a counter, and most of them are at individual desks now, they don't have access to cash where they are. They just don't. It's not like the old days where you'd go into a bank and there'd be what we used to call tellers. They call them customer service representatives now. But in the old days, we called them tellers, and they had cash drawers. Well, they don't have those anymore. Those are like have gone the way of the dodo bird. They always have central cash systems. My wife was a banker, worked in a bank for, 25, 30 years, something like that. She was involved in a couple of bank robberies in her career, and
she was, huh? That can be traumatizing.
It's very traumatizing, and they have counseling for the people that are behind the scenes that need it. Every time something like that happens, there's always counseling, there's always support. It doesn't mean that you get over it, but it's some people have gone on with a PTSD type syndrome because of stuff like that. But anyway, no, you've got to be pretty desperate and pretty stupid, actually, to walk into a bank and demand money, whether you're armed or whether you're not, because you're not going to get much. Now, always the bank employees are under the instruction of, if you got it, give it to them. There's never any pushback. There's never any confrontation. It's let them take what they can get and let them go, because that's the least dangerous thing to do. But anyway. Here we go again.
I don't know. Do they still do the die pack thing? Like, is that even a thing, or was that only in the movies?
No, it was a thing. I don't know if it still is, but when my wife worked in the banks, they still did have those kinds of things. Yeah. Okay. And the secret buttons and all that stuff. Anyway, Fort Erie Mayor Redekop is joining us on the program. And we don't politicize this show a lot, because you can get caught up in the minutia of politics. But the healthcare is a big deal all around the province. We have an election coming up tomorrow, and we're not going to get political on the election here either. But we're going to focus on the municipality, of course, of Fort Erie. Mayor Redekop, welcome to the program. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. Our healthcare system in Niagara, it's no secret, has gone through some major evolution over the last number of years. Of course, we have the main healthcare center on 4th Avenue in St. Catharines. We've got the new Niagara Regional Hospital that's being built over there off Lions Creek Road and Montrose Road and off in that area. And the experts seem to think these things are going to be the cure-all, pardon the pun, of everything healthcare in Niagara. But there are smaller communities that are going through their own challenges, and of course Fort Erie being one of them. Why are we talking to you today?
We're talking to me, I presume, because we're trying to make sure that everybody in Niagara and the people at the head of the provincial government, the Premier, the Minister of Health, understand that building one large hospital, closing a smaller hospital in Niagara Falls, and then closing two urgent care centers doesn't solve the hospital needs or the healthcare needs of Niagara. And so we've been lobbying the provincial government now for some time. We've had a lot of conversations with Niagara Health for some time, and we've been passing resolutions which we've been garnering support from our neighbors in Niagara Falls and most recently a regional council, essentially to the effect that we want the provincial government to continue the funding for the operation of Douglas Memorial with the services that it currently has, which is urgent care, diagnostics, palliative care, chronic care beds, without taking any money away from Niagara Health, to let it continue to move along its projections with respect to what it needs to do. But the reality is the population of Fort Erie has grown significantly over the last several years. We're growing at the rate of about 3% per year for the last 3 years. Niagara has grown correspondingly significantly and is now just under 500,000 people. So by 2028 or 2029, when the new hospital opens, it will not have the capacity to meet the needs of the residents of South Niagara, which will have an impact on all of Niagara.
Wayne, I'm very familiar with Douglas Memorial Hospital. I grew up in the Fort Erie area, Stevensville area. My father was in palliative care for a number of weeks at the hospital. After it was, I guess what you say, downgraded from a general hospital to those services that you mentioned. And it was a I say good experience. It's never a good experience to have anybody in palliative care, but it was as positive an experience as you possibly could have expected in those kinds of situations. And as you mentioned, as our population grows, it seems that there is a sense in some areas that our services are being reduced as opposed to expanded. Now, you're here to talk about continued funding. What is the current plan, if there is one? What is the current plan or situation of Douglas Memorial and those services you mentioned? Is it in danger of losing its funding, or where are we right now?
So Niagara Health has come up with a 3-site strategy for going forward in the future. And their plan is, once the new hospital in South Niagara is constructed and open, they want to close the urgent care centers in Fort Erie and in Port Colborne. But they also want to close all operations in Fort Erie. So in essence, Niagara Health would be abandoning Fort Erie. And right now, it costs about $10.8 million to operate the services as they are now at Douglas. That's less than 2% of Niagara Health's total budget. And by moving everything out of Fort Erie, the experience that your family had with your father is something that is going to be lost in Fort Erie. The nurses and doctors that have been fundamental in maintaining that type of palliative care service are going to be without the infrastructure that they need to continue to do that. The chronic care beds that are there are going to also be sent to the new hospital, and so there won't even be the opportunities for convalescence in Fort Erie. It'll essentially be a no hospital care municipality going forward unless we can change that, and that's exactly what we're working on.
Now, this conversation we're having right now isn't supposed to be, and it's not being focused on any one political party, because we have an election tomorrow, as you're painfully aware. But this is an appeal to all of those people that are running for election in this province, that Fort Erie needs to be paid attention to, and other municipalities in Niagara are saying similar things. They're passing on similar messages. So this is a message that hopefully will fall on ears of, regardless of what color party that you're a part of. What is the timeline for this, Wayne? Is it all hinged on the opening of the new hospital? Is that sort of the drop-dead date?
It is, and that's subject to whatever changes NH might decide they want to try to implement in the meantime. So, I've been the mayor off and on since 1997, and so I've been at ground zero when Niagara Health System was created. I've been watching the reduction, elimination of services at the hospital in Douglas Memorial. until in 2009 when they downgraded it to an urgent care center, shut out the emergency department, reduced basically everything with the exception of the diagnostics, the palliative care, and the chronic care beds. So I've seen all of this unroll. And the fact that the Niagara Regional Council, made up of representatives from across the region, would support our resolution unanimously is an indication that they understand as well. And as you pointed out, this is not just a Fort Erie problem. This is a Niagara problem, but it's a provincial problem. And so we're working on putting forward a model to the provincial government that we believe will take the pressure off the emergency departments in Niagara, that will reduce the EMS offload delays, that will provide people better access to immediate health care needs that they have, and will actually save the province money and will allow them to reallocate those funds to Fort Erie for us to provide a vital role in the system.
That was another question I was going to ask, and you've pretty much answered it, is the fact that you're not just looking for a blank check, you actually have some sort of a plan. Absolutely,
and we're going to be presenting that to the province. We've had discussions with Niagara Health. They seem to be stuck on the 3-site model. We're telling them it's not going to be adequate. And 24% of the people that come to the urgent care center in Fort Erie are not Fort Erie residents. They come from St. Catharines, Niagara Falls, Welland, any of the other communities, simply because they can't spend the time waiting in an emergency department, because it could be 4, 8, 10. I've heard as many as 20 hours. That's just not acceptable.
Yeah, I think we've all had some sort of experience with the healthcare system. Some good, some not so good. But you're right. In the fact that the people that need to be serviced are increasing as opposed to decreasing. I mean, if nobody has taken a drive up through Ridgeway and all around there on the southern tier of our municipalities, man, the building and the growth and the population has exploded in that area of our region, and those people need something reasonably close, I would think, at least in an urgent care situation.
Well, that's what I would think too, and that's why we're taking this crusade to all the levels that we need to touch upon. Fort Erie had the highest number of housing starts last year in our history, and it's simply a trend that's been going on since 2015. So the growth is significant. I do want to point out, though, that our efforts appreciate the work that's being done by the individuals who are working in the urgent care center at Douglas, in the emergency departments in Niagara. The nurses, the doctors, the support staff, the allied health workers, they're doing a fantastic job, and they're working as feverishly as they possibly can. They're the ones that are keeping the system together to the extent that it is, but they don't have endless energy, and they don't have endless ability to meet the needs of the growing population.
Okay, it's all well and good for to be talking with the mayor of Fort Erie, and says you have a plan and trying to support your constituents, etc. There is oftentimes that apathetic kind of reaction amongst the rank and file citizens that, well, what can we do about it? We can't, it's out of our hands. Is there anything we can do about it for those people in Fort Erie or the Fort Erie area, or Ridgeway, or wherever it is? What can they do? What do you need?
So we need support, but the Premier has said, call him if you've got a problem. So call the Premier. Make sure that you get messages out to the Minister of Health, to the Niagara Health System. They've all got emails, they've all got telephone numbers. I think it's pretty clear that the population in Fort Erie has always been supportive of maintaining hospital and healthcare services at Douglas Memorial. We had 5,000 people show up in 1997 for a rally to maintain the independence of our hospital here. We had 5,200 show up in 2008 to try to divert Niagara Health from closing the hospital. So those are large numbers. When you've got 20 to 25% of your community showing up at these types of events, you know that the people are engaged, and that's been happening here as well. So whenever there's been a public rally, people have shown up, but and we encourage them to speak up. They're not going to give up. We're not prepared to give up. This is too vitally important for us and for Niagara.
Mayor Wayne Redekop of Fort Erie, thanks for being here. Again, it's a crapshoot as to where healthcare in the province is going. It's probably one of the biggest buzz bullet points of the election that's coming up and where we're going in the future, because we all know that we're all going to need it at some point in time in one way, shape, or form, and all of our communities need it in spite of the big mega hospital concept. And the thing is, I don't think anybody really objects to the concept that all of our communities, be it Niagara Falls, Port Colborne, Welland, Fort Erie, wherever it is, cannot all support a general hospital style environment. I think we've kind of wrapped our heads around that that's not feasible, it's not economically possible, and it's probably not efficient. But some sort of access to the needs of people on a daily basis or a speciality basis, there has to be a combo model that works, and hopefully we'll get there.
Well, I'm pretty confident that we will. I mean, we're going to present a compelling argument to the provincial government. We would hope that Niagara Health will want to adopt that, but they seem to be pretty set in what they want to do going forward. But as you say, we know it's not going to be a full-blown hospital. That's just not what's happening. And we, in fact, in Fort Erie have supported the new South Niagara Hospital. We've committed funding to it as well. But that isn't the issue. The access to immediate care for, in Fort Erie's case, 20% of the population doesn't have a family physician. But really, after the urgent care center closes at 8 o'clock, nobody has a doctor in Fort Erie because none of the physicians have clinics after 8 o'clock. And so we're looking at ways that we can work with the provincial government and Niagara Health to ensure that everybody has the care they need.
Good talking to you, Wayne. Thanks for being here. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks very much, Lee. I appreciate it.
Okay, cheers.
Take care.
You too. Yeah, healthcare. And it seems without exception, Kevin, there's the lovely Fiddler's Poorhouse, by the way. This is our very exotic set that we work with every week. Hey, and it's look how luxurious that is. Great place, though, if you want to come on down and join us for a bevy or a burger. Or a bunch of other things.
What do we got today? 75-cent wings. $10 poutine. Those are your specials today.
There you go.
Yeah, 75-cent wings.
Yeah.
I remember, Lee, in my day, bread was a nickel.
Back in your day.
I remember 15-cent wings.
I remember 15-cent gas.
Bang on.
Yeah. Speaking of which, thank you to our sponsors again for being here. Gale's Gas Bar is our premier sponsor, our headliner, fueling this program for well over 6 seasons. We're into episode 4 of season 6 right now. So Gale's, thank you very, very much again for kind of dragging this train down the tracks for all those seasons. Also to Sandra's Home Healthcare, setting the bar as high as it can possibly be set for home health care here in the region of Niagara. From hospital to home and all things in between, 24/7 if necessary, matching healthcare workers to the clients. The people that you care about most will be looked after by the best at Sandra's Home Healthcare. Verge Insurance, limited home, car, life, whatever sort of insurance needs you have, they can talk to you about it and figure out how to look after you. Verge Insurance Brokers since 1953 in Niagara. Ace Alignment, the small place with big talents and capabilities. They're on North Street, just off Geneva, behind the Niagara Regional Police Station. Wheel alignments and brakes and suspensions and motor vehicle inspections, all kinds of vehicles, be they vans, be they cars, race cars, or classics, and everything in between and around the horn. They'll look after you. Matt and Darren are the two guys in there to talk to, so check them out. Ace Alignment on North Street in St. Catharines. Sean, the owner, Derek, the head tech at Mac Outpost on Lake Street. in the Dollar Tree Plaza, Tim Hortons Plaza there in the north end of St. Catharines, by all means, everything Apple, be it hardware, software, learning, training, figuring out how everything goes together and how to take it apart and put it back together again so that it works and you get what you need. Everything Apple, be it laptops, be it desktops, be it phones, whatever. Anything in the Apple-verse, by all means, that's the place to go. Since 1998. That's a long time. That's, what, 27 years if I'm doing my math right. And, of course, a WeeStream, operative since 1872. No, not that long, but you guys have been at it a while, Kevin.
I think we're celebrating 10 years this year. Launched in 2015, so 2025 would be our 10-year anniversary.
I've known you that long?
Yeah, good news, Lee, even longer, believe it or not, and time flies when we're having fun. We just got contacted in the last couple of weeks by Ontario Volleyball Association. Their association is growing in leaps and bounds. We used to do a lot of work for them.
That's a pun.
Pre-pandemic, you're right. And they're getting us back into the fold. So we once again are going to be streaming some of provincial championships for 18Us and 17Us. So if you're involved in OVA, and boy, oh boy, was talking to some of the people there at OVA, and they said that their membership, so the number of people playing volleyball, club volleyball, has doubled in like the last 3 years.
Wow.
So more and more Canadians
are
going,
cool.
including my nieces. My nieces love volleyball. My one niece plays for Niagara Athletics, and I know there's lots of people involved with the Niagara Rapids Club.
When are those big competitions happening?
They're not happening until May and April.
May and April.
Yeah, but it's nice to be back in the fold. So
Absolutely.
Very nice to be back in the fold.
Yeah.
Lee, we are going to be talking to Nathan, the pastor over at New Hope Church. Mm-hmm. They had a robbery, but on the good news front, they finally got the green light for their mega expansion. Before we get to that, though, the smash and grab at the Penn Center. They finally made some arrests in that, and I don't know, I was a little taken aback by what we learned yesterday, I think. I don't know if you were.
Kind of, yeah. The police that were assigned to the investigation, of course, it happened at the Penn in January. Griffin Jewelry was the targeted store that was robbed. Now, as a result of the investigation, they identified two youths. Did you say youths? Yeah, two youths. 15-year-old male from Scarborough, 15 years old, arrested and charged with multiple offenses as a result of that smash and grab attempt. And Kevin, give me another scroll here so that I can
and I'll just get you to the other guy. I mean, lots of stuff, but then...
Yeah, follow the bouncing ball. Then, and a 17-year-old from Spring Hill, Nova Scotia. All right. And again, charged with multiple offenses with regard to that. Now, under the provisions of the Youth Criminal Justice Act of Canada, I'm not going to divulge their identities, et cetera. But what is the administer noxious thing? What is that word?
I don't know. It must have been like a bear spray. I'm surprised they say noxious thing. Like, there's not better language for it than that.
Yeah.
But I think they said at the time of the incident, and maybe we can go down, that, yeah, they had pepper spray or something like that.
Oh, I guess that's what it was. Why can't they just say it plainly, though? I remember they used a small sledgehammer to smash several display cases. They proceeded to remove jewelry from the cases, placed it into bags they were carrying. A small number of witnesses attempted to intervene, which prompted the suspects to flee the area. One witness collided with a male. Oh, I remember that story. That's got to be the greatest indignity. You're trying to chase somebody, trying to do a good thing, and you run smack dab into a pillar.
I'm trying to get that video up because
that's got to leave a mark, and on your pride as well as your body. And two other witnesses were sprayed with an irritant similar to pepper spray. That's that noxious thing, I guess, it was referred to earlier. The witness who collided with the mall column transported to a local hospital. Minor injuries. Witness sprayed with the irritant were treated on the scene. Probably a good old thorough eye wash would do the trick. And now we have a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old in custody. 15-year-old from Scarborough, 17-year-old from Nova Scotia, hooked up somehow, and it did this. But this seems to be a thing, Kevin. It's not just here in Niagara, and it's not just that one incident. I was hearing there was not Guelph, Waterloo, Scarborough, different places. You wonder how many. Is this a copycat thing, or were these two on some sort of Bonnie and Clyde mission, hitting jewelry stores and malls all over the province? I don't know.
Well, it makes you wonder as well too, because if you're smash and grabbing jewelry, then you must be able to fence it. You know, listen to my old-timey terms.
Your cool talk, eh?
Right, but you must be able to sell it at the end of the day.
Well, that was...
so what I'm wondering, do a 15 and 17-year-old have the wherewithal to know these channels, or...
Is there a Shylock behind the scenes?
And are they intentionally using people under the age of 18, knowing that with... the youth laws here in Canada, that basically it'll be slap on the wrist and see you later.
Now you see that's
as opposed
something
to the more serious crimes.
Yeah, that's something right out of the movies. I mean, that's out of Oliver Twist and Tale of Two Cities and those things of some older, wiser, curmudgeon criminal running a gang of kids to do his stealing for him, so they don't ever really get arrested for good. You know, I don't know. Is it, as you mentioned, is it just a Hollywood story, or is it just a couple of kids running rampant around? We talk scams quite often on this program in the interest of public information to try to save you from yourself if we possibly can, and others that are out there to try to take your money. As a matter of fact, our last show, we talked about Kevin himself being scammed by somebody that was able to acquire his Canadian Tire loyalty points and dollars and use those to buy $300-400 worth of stuff from Canadian Tire. And they wrestled that to the ground, kind of, but it's still going on. One of the latest ones that came out around Niagara that the police are investigating, Niagara Regional Police sent the notice out, is the online job scam. Now, I have received multiple requests. We have your resume and information from numerous sources, and we think you'd be just perfect to do this job for us online. You can earn maybe $200-300 a day, etc. And you know, the pitch goes on. They're all a little bit different. They're not all scams. Some of them are actually legitimate places where you can earn some money, but it's not as easy as they say it is. Believe me, it isn't. I've checked it out. But what happened here is someone applied for a job online. They were quickly offered the position after like a 1-minute interview. In other words, you don't have to be a PhD to get this proposed job. So you're hired. Now, following the offer, the person was instructed by the company to purchase computer equipment in order for them to perform these duties online. Okay. Now, the funds were supposed to come from the company, though. We're going to send you the money so that you can buy the equipment, and then we can get you earning some cash. Okay, so this person gets a copy of a check that was supposedly deposited in their bank account. Okay, following me so far? This was a copy, a photocopy, a digital copy of a check, an e-transfer. All right. But then the company contacts them and said, oh, we made a mistake. We overpaid you by $2,000. We sent you $2,000 more than you are going to need to buy this equipment so that we can work together. Okay, so what do I do? Well, all you have to do is send us back the $2,000 and we're good to go. Well, the person sends back the $2,000, but they sent $2,000 legitimately by e-transfer out of their own bank account to these people who had never sent them any money in the first place. The check was bogus. It was a digital copy of something that didn't exist, although it probably looked quite authentic. Now this person is simply given the scammers $2,000, and they've got nothing to show for it. But on the positive side of this story, whereas so many of these people disappear into the ether and you don't know where they are and you don't know where they come from, and they could be in a third world country somewhere halfway around the world, this one was a neighborhood crime. Sunday Kahind, if I'm pronouncing that right, 24 years old.
No, you got it. It's Sunday.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. Yeah, my bad. Anyway, they caught the guy. But the scam itself is not new. So be careful of those jobs that sound too good to be true, because they are too good to be true, that you get emailed about.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, if Sunday's watching, I still haven't heard about that job. So I'm waiting and I'm hoping.
I think I get a couple of those texts a week to earn a gob of money online. It's simple. All right. Nathan Braun is the pastor of the New Hope Church in St. Catharines. Reverend Braun, Pastor Braun, welcome to the program. Nice to have you here.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Okay. So your saga with New Hope Church has been, as far as the saga of expansion is concerned, we've got sort of a two-point conversation to have today. Let's talk about the expansion first of all. It's been on the drawing board since spring of 2023.
Oh, even before that, we actually submitted, it would have been 2021, we submitted to the city to expand. So it's been a long saga for sure.
Okay, what you already have a fairly sizable facility at your location. It's a pretty big place already. Why do you want to get bigger, and why has it taken so long? Two-part question.
Sure. So we're currently at 4 services. At First Street, we opened a new location in Jordan, and that's already at 2 services. And so the reason to get bigger is just to make room. I mean, we don't really want to spend money on building, but we have people coming that are looking for help and looking for hope, and so we're trying to make room for them that way. And the reason it's taken so long is the expansion is there's some boundaries on our property that needed to get moved. Mm-hmm. There's some existing boundaries that were put on the property, and then there was a requirement that said that we can only use 5% of our 9.6 acres. And so we asked if we could use 9, and that's what caused a trickle effect, if you will. We went to the city, we went to the regional council, and then we got appealed, so we had to go to the Ontario Land Tribunal, which
what is the opposition argument, though, Nathan?
Yeah, for sure. So we're part of the Greenbelt property, so I think that's the opposition that's working kind of to say that they don't want to see any development on Greenbelt. Our kind of comment back was we've been existing, so if we were a new build, that's different, but we were already existing on the Greenbelt property initially, so that's kind of the back and forth.
Okay, so what is the status at the moment? Are things looking up?
Yeah, so we all of that is done. So the Ontario Land Tribunal is done, and we've been approved to expand. And so we're working with our city and city planners and our regional staff members to make sure we're in compliance and doing everything we can. And so looking to see that expansion happening within the next year, or hopefully sooner. We're going as fast as we can.
It is a constant or consistent impression of mine that there isn't one, I don't think there has been one municipal politician in any municipality I've lived. Niagara is not special, but all of Niagara's municipalities, and I've lived in provinces across this country, and without fail, local municipal politicians will tell you, I believe we need to cut out red tape. I believe we need to make business licenses easier to get, and expansions easier, and business easier to do, and easier for people to live and do that. And it never happens in any municipality I've been in. These issues affect business and affect expansion and affect people, and the red tape, the bureaucracy always continues to be sticky. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's new for us. I mean, this wasn't really the road that we thought we were going down, to be honest. And so it's been a struggle, I guess, is the best way to say it. We have a temporary tent where a lot of our youth have to meet in, and trying to make things work. We're blessed to have lots of people coming, and
well, that's good.
Also its own challenges. So,
Kevin.
Yeah, Nathan, just wondering, as for the planned expansion, what is it going to look like in relation to the building that's already there? Are you expanding to the north? Is it going to be the same height, the same depth?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Yeah, so we're actually going to the south, so away from the parking lot towards Reichert. It's going to be a beautiful kind of arced glass lobby that'll mirror the two buildings. And then there will be a sanctuary. So it'll be the current building's getting used all for kids space and for youth space and community throughout the week. And then the lobby will be like the middle part that links the other sanctuary space, worship space that's going to get added. So it's going out kind of towards the Reichert Street area south. All
right. Now the unfortunate part of this conversation is the point two that I mentioned before, is the fact that you experienced some thefts at your properties. What's happened?
Well, if I may, we actually have some unfortunate history that goes back to the pandemic. We had a trailer out on our property and a baptism tank outside, and we were doing outdoor services with an FM radio transmitter, and someone stole our fifth wheel trailer with the tank full of water on it on a Saturday night before our baptism. So we did relocate it. We had an air tag on it, and so we got it back, actually, along with, I think it was on 411, and so a lot of people were looking for it, and we got that and the baptism tank back. But more recently, unfortunately, yes, they have come in on the back part of the property on 4x4s. They've got their battery-operated grinders, and they just grind away. We even have safety locks that stop grinding, but then they just wreck our sea container. They grind the whole bars right off, actually, to get in. So it's been quite unfortunate lately.
And what was taken?
So we lost about $22,000 worth of our equipment. So we lost a side-by-side that's used for snow clearing, a snowblower that's used for snow clearing. We lost our ride-on lawnmower, our push lawnmower, our leaf blowers, our weed whackers, all of the equipment. So they took their time. It was a nice 4-hour video to watch on replay. And it sounds like, unfortunately, other local businesses experienced the exact same thing too. Yeah. What the officers are telling us.
Well, as you said, there was some video, and we had a couple of shots up on the screen here while we were chatting. So hopefully you'll get some of it back. These things you never really know whether the stuff is gone with the wind or what. But we wanted to highlight the fact that it had happened, and if anybody has any information, of course, contact the police or Crime Stoppers or whatever. So hopefully you'll regain some of your stuff. We hope so. Let me ask you another question that's a much more general one. Over the last many years, traditional religious organizational congregations have been shrinking. It's a much different world in the world of worship than it used to be. Why are you so big and so successful as you appear to be, to the point of needing expansion in these communities that you serve? What are you guys doing right?
Thanks again for asking. We feel super blessed and humbled that people are coming, and that the consistent theme seems that the people that are coming to New Hope Church are needing help, they're needing hope, and they're needing kind of a foundation for their family. We have many young families coming, and they're seeking morality. They're trying to build their family on some sense of morality, some value that is lasting and is a bit bigger than I guess what they're receiving elsewhere or what they've been living. And so that's the one piece. I think there's a lot of hurting people out of the pandemic. Many people were hurting. There's lies, there's confusion. They're not sure what's going on, and so they're looking for a community that would surround them with some truth, and we've been able to offer that to many of them. So that's a consistent theme, I think, for young families, but also in general, people are seeking that in our world today.
Well, whatever it is, it seems like the formula is working, and hopefully your expansion comes through, and the people that need that hope will receive it. Hope you get your stuff back, and you can get on with your lives. So, how long have you been with the organization, Nathan?
Well, the church started in my mom and dad's living room, so I think, I've been here for all the 23 years, but been on staff for almost 10 now, so we're working here for 10. So
would we refer to, I'm going out on a limb, would we refer to the New Hope Church as a non-denominational Christian organization? Is that kind of what you are?
Yeah, that would be fair. We are our own denomination, like we're recognized federally, provincially as a denomination, but that would be a fair kind of assumption or comment, yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for being here. Thanks for explaining what you're up to and what you're going through. And again, good luck to you and your congregation on the path forward, and we'll follow the story.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, you're welcome. Thanks for being here. Yeah, it always is interesting to me, Kevin, in the world of traditional anything, be it religion, be it politics, be it business, be it social clubs or whatever it is. Things have, on so many levels, like for example, the Royal Canadian Legion, a great organization. They've struggled with membership and longevity, etc. And that's just one small example. Many service clubs, like the Kiwanis and Alliance clubs and Lions, Rotary clubs and things, always have recruitment issues, trying to find more people to help them do the good work that they do. And churches are no different with shrinking congregations. And then all of a sudden, in these various areas, some organization pops up and has seemed to put together a proper formula for what people seem to be looking for and what they want to use. I find it an interesting situation in our society that we are in this transition between tradition and new ways of thinking, and or evolution along the way for all of our areas. I guess it's a bigger conversation that we have time for today, but it's nice to see some organizations getting the results and serving the people that want to be served. I think it's a great idea in all walks of life, not just the spiritual side of things. Once again, before we go, I want to thank our sponsors, Gales Gas Bars, all the way through all of these seasons, even prior to when we started calling them seasons. Gales Gas Bars were supporters of our program, and here we are in Season 6, Episode 4 of Niagara 411 Live. With Lee, Sterry, and Gales has been here every step of the way. Sandra's Home Health Care, for over 20 years, setting the standard for health care and personal service worker support in Niagara. Verge Insurance Group since 1953. Home, auto, life insurance, business insurance, you name it, Verge Insurance can accommodate you for whatever your needs are. Insurance brokers over on Ontario Street. Ace Alignment over on North Street for all your automotive needs and support, whatever your car or truck, be it big, small, sporty, or race car, doesn't matter what. Matt and Darren are your guys over there, and at Ace Alignment on North Street. And Sean, the owner, Derek, the head tech at Mac Outpost, where would we be without you? Thank you very much for being a sponsor of this program as well. Everything Apple in Niagara. Check him out. It's Mac Outpost. Kevin of WeeStreem, it's always a pleasure. We managed to dodge the slings and arrows of outrageous technical difficulties this week. I guess I shouldn't speak too fast because we're not completely done yet.
and yeah, partially because of that and partially because it's a dreary day. Instead of getting that nice streetscape of St. Paul, I figured we'd give you a nice view here, a vista of inside.
Yeah. All right.
Fiddler's Poorhouse right here on St. Paul Street, so you can see us tear down the show while we listen to music today by Daniel Romano from Welham. He's quite accomplished. He's toured the world, and we'll have his official video for a song called State of Nature.
All right, Daniel Romano to play us off the stage here. It's been a slice, as they say. Have yourselves a great rest of the week. I know we got some more snow coming, but it's February in Canada. Have a great day.